Hi, and welcome to my Flosstube, my first one. My name is Esther, and I'm from Denmark. But I have decided to do my Flosstube in English because most of the Flosstubes I watch are actually in English, and my vocabulary, cross-stitch vocabulary, is way bigger in English than it is in Danish. Also, I would like to tell you that I do this Flosstube because I need to become a part of a community where one is understood, where people understand my joy, excitement every time I buy floss, every time I buy fabric, every time I stumble across a pattern I cannot live without and have to purchase. So that's my reason for doing a Flosstube. So you could actually say I'm just doing this for me, but of course I hope that you will like what you see. And yeah, so a little bit about my stitching life. When I was 6-7 years old, back in the 70s, quite a long time ago, my aunt taught me the basics of cross stitching, and the rest I figured out myself with quite a lot of errors in the beginning. I mean, when I had to end a thread, I just made a knot. I'm not doing that anymore. Thank goodness for that. I would never say that my backs are as neat as my fronts, but actually I don't care about that because it's the front you're going to watch, right? I have been stitching on off since I was taught it. I had a period in my late teens and again in the 1990s. And then again in 2008, I could hardly see anything because I needed to have a cataract surgery on both eyes because my sights on both eyes were down to, I think it was 15 or 20%. So I couldn't read, I couldn't do much. But after the surgeries, all of a sudden I could see again. And I could do cross stitch again. And then I had a long period. I did quite a lot of cross stitch from the 2008 until about 2014, I think. And then another break. And then in March of 2020, we encountered something called COVID-19. And the rest is history. I started, in Denmark, we were locked down when the first lockdown from March the 11th, I think. And hey, what should I do? Hey, I can cross stitch, and I began cross stitching again. At this time, I was what you would call a monogamous stitcher, and I had no intention of changing that. But then I decided, I got an idea, hey, let me check out Facebook. Maybe there are some people there doing cross-stitch. And I did find a lot of cross-stitch related groups on Facebook, and they talked about Flosstube. And I thought, Flosstube, what is that? And I searched YouTube and found Flosstubes. And I haven't looked back ever since. The first Flosstuber I watched was Fancy Lady Cross Stitch from the UK. And shortly after, I also found Teresa Little Stitch's Flosstube. And then I was hooked and started searching for more Flosstubes. The Flosstubers I watch mostly these days are still Fancy Lady Cross Stitch and Teresa, as well as MommaLovesUYouGB and Kitty Stitcher and StitchEm and Bumble Stitches, as well as Crafty Waiting Creations, and they are all UK based. From the US, I watch Black Ribbon Stitch Studio, Stitchin Mommy, Noah Stitches, and Alissa Jones. And I also watch a German floss tuber called Lea Revenga. She does her floss tubes in two versions, a German and an English. I understand both languages, so sometimes I watch her German version and sometimes I watch her English version. Usually I prefer the English version because of the cross-stitch vocabulary. I also watch the pretty new one, Modern Folk Embroidery, and he's from Holland. And when I first started watching floss tubes, I was like, what are they talking about? What is a whip? What is an FO? What is an FAO? What is a BAP? What is a HAID? You know, all these cross-stitch related words, and I hadn't got a clue what they were all about. I do now. That has changed quite a lot. Yeah, I have to look into my notes here. Yeah, there's one problem watching floss tubes though, at least for me, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that happened to, because what happens when you watch floss tube, especially if you watch a lot of floss tubes, you fall into one rabbit hole after the other. I have lost count of how many rabbit holes I have fallen into. So if we go back to March 2020, I didn't know what a needle minder was. I do now. I didn't know what a project bag was. I do now. I hadn't heard about hand-dyed fabric. I have now. I hadn't heard about hand-dyed floss. I have now. I didn't know about printed fabric. I do now. I didn't know what easy count was, because we don't have that in Danish shops. Actually, I haven't been looking that much for it, but I haven't seen it. And then what variegated floss? What is that? So you see, I have learned quite a lot of things since March 2020. Actually, because of Michelle from MommaLovesUYouGB, I have also started hand dyeing my own fabric. I do not use those crystals or what it is that she uses. I have bought some RIT dye as well as Dyson dye. And in another floss tube I will show some of my pieces. But maybe we should get to some whips. I have really been thinking about, so what should I show? And I'm not going to, I'm going to show you most of my current whips, as well as what I have been kitting up for new starts in 2021. I have a whole basket full of those. So, but actually I think I want to start with the FFOs. Caterpillar cross stitch. The first one I did was this one. It's called Deck the Halls. I started that on the 17th of July and ended it by the 8th of August. I was on summer holiday at this time, and since I was staying at home, what else should I do than being cross-stitching? It's done on 16 count Ada called Snowflake with sparkles. I don't know if you can see the sparkles. Those little snowflakes here I did with this glowing in the dark DMC thread, and it works. So I like this very much. And then in September, they started a sale. So I participated in my first sale. It's called Hello Dear. I started that on the day the first part of the pattern was sent to me. That means the 28th of September. And I finished it the 23rd of November. And it was FFO'd by the 6th of December. It's on 16 count Ada called Manuscript, purchased from Lakeside Needlecraft, my absolutely favorite online store for cross-stitch related items. Actually, it was, because after Brexit, I'm not going to buy anything from the UK anymore, unfortunately. Then we have this one, Time Spent with Cats. Sorry for the glare. I hope you can read it. I started that, let me see, on the 5th of May and ended it by the 9th of May. And it's from Punt Ago Petite Pattern. It's on 18 count white Ada. It's from an Etsy shop. I will put it down below. And of course I had to do this one. It's the glare is really bad. When I saw that, I just thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. I really have to, because that's really my opinion about the year 2020. It's from, let me see, where's her name? It's called 2020 Middle Finger, and it's from Mitten Gal X Stitch from Etsy, an Etsy shop. And it's stitched on 16 count Ada called Twilight Hour, and that's purchased from Sew It All, sorry. And I used DMC 4210. DMC 4210. So a variegated floss. Okay. Yeah. And my last FFO for now is this little one. I started that on the 28th of December and ended it on the 31st of December. So that means it took me 3 days. It wasn't FFO'd until the 2nd of January, actually. I made it into a little pillow with some bee fabric that I also purchased in the UK. And this is where I put in the filling. It was Nicola from Bumble Stitches who showed that method in one of her floss tubes. So thank you for that, Nicola. So, whips. Actually, I'm this year, of course, I'm taking part. I'm doing a whip go. I have made my whip go charts, and everything you can see in red, that's actually a new start. I'm going to show you some of those new starts later. But the first, actually 3 numbers were called this January, but the one that was called was number 13, and that's the free one. And then Breath of Spring was called, this one, by, let me see if I can pronounce her name, Elena Chugovskaya. I think it's Russian, so crocus is my all-time favorite flower. I'm pretty much into gardening, and crocus is my favorite flower, as I just said. And I have about 60 different crocuses in my garden. Some of them are autumn crocuses and others are spring flowering. Okay, and where is my bag for that one? It's here. So my goal for this month, for the month it's called, is to stitch for 10 hours. I have stitched for 1 hour so far, so I think I have to work on it tomorrow in order to move a bit ahead, because I would like to say, yeah, I did reach my goal. So that was that one. And the other one that was called for this month is the Black Work Cats from Peppermint Purple. It's my first black work, and I find it a bit difficult. Not the black work itself, but because I decided to do this on even weave, and usually I'm an Ada girl. And as I said, I decided to do it on even weave, but I decided to do it on even weave, and even on glittery even weave, so it's not very easy to see the holes. So if I could turn back time, I would probably have chosen some other fabric, or at least without the glitter. I don't know if you can see how glittery it is. Yeah, a little bit you can. This one I should also stitch. My goal was 10 hours of stitching. I already did 8 hours, so I think I will reach that goal. The fabric is called Butterscotch, and it's an even weave 28 count Zweigart, and it's glittery, and I bought it from Crafty Bits Dye Works on Etsy. Okay. Another whip is this one. This is also in my whip go, but hasn't been called yet. Geometric 10 fans. Here it's in blue colors, but I decided to do it in autumny colors instead. So I used this stitch palettes on the internet to find some matching colors, and this is how far I got. I haven't stitched on it for quite some time, but I really like the colors. I started this one on the 12th of July, but I haven't stitched on it for several months now, so I probably won't stitch on it until it's called for. Then I have this one. It's called Daffy Einstein. It means, can I move in, please? And it's from Oven Design. And the pattern is really difficult because it doesn't show the true colors. So if I have to stitch with orange, it's brown, stuff like that. It's really annoying. So I haven't stitched on that for quite some time. I started it on, let me see, where is it? On the 4th of July. It's on 16 count, easy count Ada. And I think it's going to be very cute, but it's also in my whip go, and I probably won't work on it until it's being called for. And then again, Michelle, she showed this one, House of Christmas by Galliani Cross Stitch. I was blown away, and I just thought, I need to have this one. I need it. And I have been stitching on that one like crazy. One day I did more than 2,000 stitches, and my shoulder was totally sour after that, so I had to take a 2 days break after that. I started it on the 7th of November, and I haven't stitched on it since Christmas, but I think I did get pretty far. And this one is also in my whip go, so maybe I'm lucky and get to stitch on it in Jolly July. You never know, or Christmas in July, or whatever it's called. Then one of the Flosstubers, as I mentioned before, is Stitchin Mommy. She has made this temperature tree and she has showed it on her Flosstube, and I just thought this is a great idea. Even my partner thought, hey, that's a great idea. So of course I had to buy that one. And I started that one on the 22nd of December. And I'm a little behind because I don't do the leaves every day. But this is how far. As you can see, it's not that cold here. We have about 1, 2, 3 degrees Celsius every day. We used to have real winters in Denmark. We used to have real winters with a lot of snow. Not all winters, but at least it used to be cold. We used to have winters with -10 degrees, -15, sometimes -20 degrees. The last time we had a lot of snow was in 2010, 2011, where we had about 60 or 70 centimeters of snow. And I loved it because it was real winter, but not anymore. Then I'm getting to an end with my whips here. I can see this one I called Quilt Pattern. It's my own pattern. I make it up while I'm stitching. And I gave myself some, what do you call it? I could only use 3 colors. And this blue one, the turquoise one, I could only use once in each row. It's almost done, but I usually stitch in it when we are driving somewhere, and because of the pandemic, we stay at home. We are actually in our 2nd lockdown here in Denmark now. The last whips in StitchEm magazine in March 2020. They had these cute little things, and I'm going to do all of them except this one because I don't like that very much, but I do like the others. And I already showed you the bird, and I should have looked that bird's name in English up in the dictionary before making the Flosstube, but I didn't. Sorry for that. Yeah. And yesterday I had another FO. This one, a field of hyacinths, and I really like it. And I also have another whip. Where is it? Here. I call that one lemons. So these are most of my current whips. As I told you, I was going to participate in the Whip Go of 2021. Yeah, and I did kit up quite a lot of new starts. Not all of them are going to be in my Whip Go, but actually I plan to start all these in 2021. As you have probably, and I'm going to go through them in a moment. As you probably have noticed by now, I don't do Hates, I don't do Mirabelis, I don't do Teresa Wensler. Not that I don't like them, but hey, I didn't know about them until March, and I think I would probably do a Hate first, but I still haven't found one where I said, hey, I really need to do this one. I'm used to doing smaller projects that I can finish within a year and sometimes within 3 days. Most of the projects I work on are about 25,000-30,000 stitches, but that might change. Well, let's see. what this is. This is called Bright Sparks. It's from, just a moment, right, where is it? Cross stitch January of 21. I'm not going to do the fireworks. I'm just going to do the silhouette of London. I love London. So that's in my whip go. So I'm probably not going to start it until it's called, because it's a very small project. Then we have, and most of these are fully kitted, but some of them still need the fabric. This one, that's, I can't show you because I cannot show you the patterns. But this is going to be 4 little pictures of Santa. No, it's not Santa Claus. Santa's helpers, the pixies, I think you call them in English. But I'm going to do it, all 4 of them next to each other on this one. And that's 18 count Ada with golds, a gold thread in it, so it's glittery. I bought that from a shop called Million of Stitches. That was because that was one of the first things I bought on Etsy, and back then I didn't know much about counts of Ada, but I'm going to talk about those Ada counts in another Flosstube, because that has been quite an obstacle for me to figure the sizes out. This one is, where is it? This is a very old pattern that I purchased in the 1970s. No, not 70s, or 1990s. If I could just find it. Maybe it is in here. It's a Tutankhamun. You know, the old Egyptian guy. I did start it once, but this is 18 count black Ada. And I gave up on that one. So I'm still going to do it on black Ada, but this time it's 16 counts. And yeah, the pattern is here. It's from Permin of Copenhagen, or Permin, as we call it in Danish, of Copenhagen. I think I will be able to handle it now, because now I did do more stuff with confetti in it. And I think I'm going to grit the black Ada. This one is, what is that one? Ah, yeah. It's called The Night Before Christmas. And I don't have the photo of it here, so I'm going to see if I can put up the picture either here or there, but I haven't edited videos before, so if not, you have to live without it. Sorry about that then. It's from Cross Stitch December 2020. It's a sock. And this one is called Weihnachtsmarkt. I'm going to do that on, that's an 11 count as well. Also glittery, but this time with silver thread in it. And I do have the pattern here. It's from Lindner, a German designer. Let me see. It's not that one. Here. I'm just going to make these 5 houses here. I really like them. I find them adorable. So, maybe I should wait and not do all these today because there are a lot. And this is the lemon tree from, I bought that pattern on Etsy. And I haven't got the photo of that either. I only did the pattern, print out the numbers. Because when I stitch, I don't use paper patterns. I use PDFs only. For every pattern, only PDF. Even if it doesn't go into Pattern Keeper. But I will see if I can put a photo of it here or here. But otherwise, it's a lemon tree. And I'm going to do it on this one. It's called Icy Topaz, and that's from Sew It All. And it's 18 count, Ada. And then this is Winter Snowfall. This is because, what's her name? Sorry. Sean from Craftivating Creations. She showed it in her Flosstube. And I was blown away and I just thought, oh, I gotta have that one. I gotta have that one. And that's actually one with beads in it as well. And I have done some beading, cross-stitch beading, but that's a very long time ago. But hey, I'm going to give it a try. And I love it. And I've kitted it up with the teal color. And I'm going to do it on this one. I don't know if you can see, it's where is it? Winter Snowfall. No, I didn't write down. I think it's called oatmeal or linen look or something like that. And sorry for all the noise from these bags. And these are, I'm going to do these on different kind of fabrics because I love Madame Chantilly. I love her Chantilly. I love her owls. So I purchased all the patterns for her owls. I did do this one, Christmas owls. I forgot to bring it here. I can show you another time. I bought the summer owls. I'm going to do that on a yellow Ada, I think. And these are the spring owls. And here we have the Halloween owls. I don't celebrate Halloween here. Some people in Denmark do celebrate Halloween. I don't. But that's thank you to you Flosstubers, because you keep showing me all those Halloween patterns. And now I have to do Halloween patterns as well. Well, thanks for that. And the winter owls. And it's all kitted up here. And this is actually one of my own dyed fabrics. And I don't remember which one. This one. I don't remember which of the patterns I'm going to put on this one. I will let you know in a later Flosstube. But this one is one I dyed myself. It's 16 count. Sorry if my first Flosstube is a bit messy, but I keep now I start to understand how you sometimes think you have a lot of mess when you're doing a floss tube, because yeah, you do have you get a lot of mess here, and you have to put it all away afterwards. So I think this is the last one I'm going to show you, because I told myself that I wanted my first floss tube just to last about 30 minutes, and now it's already 35 minutes. So I will show you the rest later. But I'm also going to do this one, Die kleine Wintereule. That's another owl. The little winter owl. And it's from Vervago, or whatever it's called. It's Belgian, I think. And I'm going to do that on this one. It's Permin. It's called White Chocolate. And I'm sorry about the light. It doesn't, yeah. You know, it's very difficult to show lights here. And actually, it's getting pretty dark outside now. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so that doesn't help. But coming to think of it, I do have a daylight lamp, so maybe I should use that one for my next floss tube. Let's see if I remember that. So, I think I will say that's it for this, my first floss tube. I hope you have enjoyed watching, and I hope you will return. And now I'm going to see if I know how to edit, and if not, I will just leave it as it is and start uploading it to YouTube. Before I go, I have one last shout out to Rocio from the Cocohamas floss tube, because this floss tube, Rocio, is actually your fault, because I watched your tutorial about how to do a floss tube with tips and tricks, and that was the kick that sent me in this direction to actually sit down, prepare, and do a floss tube. So I hope to see you again. Take care. Bye.